Hello everyone and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. My name is Steve Eunice. In this, our August 28th, 2018 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including some of the things that have been said about the possible Superman movie. We're going to be talking about Superman and Lois Lane, both appearing in the upcoming CW crossover, and so much more. We're also going to be turning to you to take your questions and comments on any particular Superman topic you would like to discuss. And to let you know how all that works, let me introduce you to my co-host, Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve. Now, because the show is about Superman, we want to hear from Superman fans from across the planet Houston, which means we want to hear from you if you're watching this live. To do this, you need Skype. Open Skype, search for Superman Homepage and message us that you'd like to be part of the show. We do try to get to callers during the second half of the program, so be patient, and we will try to get to you if we can. Sometimes we run over. Also, please wait for us to react to your messages and let us call you. And if you do get on the air, please lower your volumes as we are on a delay, meaning I say this and 5 seconds later you hear it.
Yes, and now for those of you tuning in live via Facebook to watch tonight's show, below or next to that video, we invite you to post your comments and ask questions, and Michael and I will keep an eye on those comments throughout the show to react to them as necessary. And a huge thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Tina Murray, Douglas Meacham and Henry Bernstein. We appreciate your support. Well, Mike, it's been an interesting week for you, I believe, on a personal note. You're moving works locations and been eating Superman cake and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this is the second time I've moved from the city I currently work in to the city the city I was working in to the city I'm currently working in, and both times two separate companies, two separate management teams. They both got me Superman cakes, and I have a little stand. There's little plastic Superman that are on the cakes, so they're actually both sitting on my bookshelf at the moment. But nice. Yeah, it's I got Dragon Con this weekend, and I'm just hip deep in prep and getting presentations together, and it's just been insane, actually.
Yeah, I can imagine you must be so busy in all that preparation work for the multitude of panels that you'll be part of and hosting at Dragon Con this coming weekend.
Yep, there are 4 different ones, and if we have time at the end of the show, I can go through them.
Sounds good. All right, well, let's get into the movie news that has come across our desk this week in the world of Superman, and there isn't really much, but in an interview with the Fanboy podcast, writer Mark Waid spoke about his love for Superman, what the character means to him, and whether he'd be interested in writing a script for a possible movie. And he says, sure. He says, I mean, that would never happen, so it's really easy for me to say yes, but sure, that'd be interesting. He says, I'd take a swing at something like that. I don't know what my story would be. Actually, that's not true. I know exactly what my story would be, but I can't give it away. It's the one Superman story I've got in my back pocket that, if we all live long enough, maybe someone will ask me to tell someday.
Knowing Mark Waid and the shot he took at J. Michael Straczynski for Grounded, I have a feeling it's not a story about Superman walking across the country. But no, it's just, one, does it seem like Mark Waid is talking to everybody but us? And two, because it seems like he's doing a lot of interviews lately. It's not a call for anybody to bug Mark Waid. That was a joke. And two, you know, these questions, it's like, would you ever want to write a Superman movie? Everybody who likes the character wants to write a Superman movie. You know, this is a simple bait and trap for an interviewer to do, because it's just like, ask the biggest Superman fan on the planet who has written the character, and to my mind kind of got screwed over about that. If he wants to write the character, of course he wants to write the movie.
Yes, exactly. I mean, who wouldn't? And for those who are maybe not familiar with Mark Waid's work, he's been a long time comic book writer. He's been writing Superman stories since back in 1985 with Action Comics 572, and he's written some of the more memorable Superman stories with obviously Kingdom Come, which he didn't necessarily come up with the idea for. That was more. Why am I skipping on his name? The artist
Alex Ross's idea.
Yeah.
He came on, yeah.
And Superman Birthright is another one that obviously he is familiar for, and is it's a controversial one. Birthright, it introduced a number of elements that a lot of fans weren't necessarily, kind of didn't really grab onto. Superman being a vegan and Superman having soul vision.
Is it fair to say that DC didn't really grab onto it either? Because they dropped that super fast.
Yeah. No, there were some ideas there that were inspired, but others were like, maybe you're just kind of putting your own real bias in there and writing for yourself more than everybody else.
Yeah, but I reread it actually a couple of years ago, and I hadn't really read it until since it came out. It does much better as kind of like, this is an idea for Superman.
Yeah, not as a new origin.
I would have followed it, but I just think DC was in such a really weird state of flux at that time that it's almost unfair that they asked him to do that, because it was like 2 years later or a year later, Infinite Crisis happens. But that was during, I was like saying this, that was put out during Superstorm.
So, that's what Mark Waid had to say about his ideas for a possible movie script. It would be interesting to see what that idea is, especially if he never does get to do it. But maybe it'll come out in comic book form or some other type of format in the years to come.
Yeah, I would never say no to a Mark Waid Superman story. I like him both as a writer and as a person. Mm-hmm. Just follow him on Twitter, because sometimes he is amazingly entertaining in who he fights for, okay. I should say. It's a nice way to say that without getting into the subject.
Okay. Well, the only other piece of Superman movie news we have is the announcement that a 40th anniversary screening of Superman the movie will take place in Shaftesbury Avenue, London. The Picture House Central there is not only hosting a Sunday, September 23rd, 3 p.m. screening, but producer Pierre Spengler will be part of the screening there and will answer questions and be talking after the film, where he'll be interviewed on stage talking about his involvement in not just Superman the movie, but Superman 2 and Superman 3 as well.
Star Spangled Spangler, as Richard Donner probably very unflatteringly called him.
Now, tickets are only £17, and fans can purchase their tickets at picturehouses.com. As I said, it's September 23rd, Sunday, 3 p.m. And it's a screening from an old 35mm print, so it might not be the clearest version of the film that you've seen, especially if you've now been spoiled with Blu-ray versions of the movie that's been cleaned up and digitally remastered and that over the years. But old 35mm print will obviously have specks and kind of fuzziness things happening, scratches and things like that will probably make it very authentic for a 1978 film.
Yeah, I was about to say Superman's costume is going to be like teal at certain points. So yeah, of course it's in England.
Yes, it's one of those things. You just there are a lot of places around the world that do old movies, screening them back and forth for anniversaries and things. Just not. I'm surprised that there hasn't been a wider uptake of Superman the movie screenings around the place, since it is such an iconic film.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not surprising because Superman tends to kind of get the short end of the stick on that. I am willing to put good money that there's going to be some kind of theatrical re-release of Batman '89 next year, because it's the 25th anniversary of the movie. But it is kind of disappointing that, you're getting these like little things here and there, but I would like kind of more of a Fathom Events or something like that, wider release, where people. I think people want to see this film. on the big screen.
Yeah, exactly.
So it boggles my mind, but at the same time, I'm not surprised.
And to finish up on our movie news front, I sat down this week and watched the Lego DC Superheroes Aquaman Rage of Atlantis animated movie. Warner Brothers were kind enough to send me a Blu-ray combo pack of this movie, and my review is up on the website. But pretty much what I say is, yes, it's an Aquaman film. It's a story surrounding Aquaman and his involvement in this Lego animated universe. Superman is part of it, as you can see there on the cover of the Blu-ray. But Lois and Jimmy are probably more prominent than Superman in this. They report on events quite often throughout the film, and Superman is more like a bit player and being underwater and being deep in Atlantis. There's no sun rays down there, so he's kind of incapacitated to an extent and doesn't really play a big part in the superheroics, especially when they go off-world to another universe where they're under a red sun. So it's like, they just put him in there for a bit of a laugh every now and then. But it's still an enjoyable film if you're into the Lego animated movies. This is a good one, a lot of fun. A simple story, but still a lot for fans of all ages to enjoy if that's something that you're inclined to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll catch it on Cartoon Network at some point. Of course, Superman's kind of treated as a laugh. I mean, that's kind of what these Lego movies do, really.
And as Justin says in his comment on the Facebook comments there, it does come in that combo pack with a free Green Lantern Lego figure, and that's Jessica Cruz, who's the Green Lantern in this animated film. So it's a nice little Lego figure, and it's probably not one of the ones you actually go out and purchase, so getting it in that combo pack is a nice little gift as well.
Yeah, I do like that they do the kind of exclusive get nowhere else Lego figures with that, and I think it's kind of cool that Jessica Cruz is getting some appearances outside of the comics. She's been a Green Lantern now since Rebirth, I believe, so it's kind of cool that she's getting the chance to kind of reach a wider audience.
Yeah, she's probably the second most prominent character in this movie because, yes, it's all about Aquaman and the whole thing of Atlantis, but her role and her fighting against her fears and not being a confident Green Lantern and all that are very much part of the film, and so I say it's probably not too far in the distance that we'll probably get a film dedicated to her in this Lego series.
Yeah, I'm sure once the Green Lantern movie actually gets made, they'll do a Green Lantern, probably all incorporating all of the lanterns into it, since they did that with the third Batman Lego game? Yeah, I think it was the third one where you went to all the different worlds. So I think they got the groundwork on that done, started already.
Yeah. Now let's move on to the TV side of things. And there was big news this past week for the CW crossover event that's coming up in December, with the news that not only will Superman return in the form of Tyler Hoechlin's version of the Man of Steel, and probably his version of Clark Kent as well, but he'll be joined by Lois Lane, who will be appearing for the first time in the Supergirl Arrowverse universe in this crossover. We now know that they'll be in episode 1, which is the Flash version of the episode, and episode 3, which is the Supergirl episode of this 3-part crossover. And there is there's a comment by the executive producer Jessica Queller and Robert Rovnay in a statement saying, "We couldn't be more excited to introduce Lois Lane to the Arrowverse. This dogged, determined and brave reporter will make for a strong partner to Superman and amazing addition to our universe of DC characters." What do you think?
And it's not even my birthday. I was so excited for this. One, it's Superman coming back and participating in the crossover, which we've kind of complained about off and on over the, since they introduced him into the, into this, universe basically. But, to have Lois there too, and to have kind of what seems to be kind of a prominent role in it, I think it's just great. I'm so happy. I know some people are still mad at Tyler Hoechlin for the whole picture thing. I never really was bothered one way or the other, but it's just I can't even speak. I'm so happy. This is going to be great.
Now, I've just discovered today, and I haven't actually got around to being able to report it on the website yet, but there is a description out there for the role of Lois Lane that the CW, because I haven't cast this role yet, so the description for Lois Lane's casting call or casting description is the daughter of US General Sam Lane. Lois is a tenacious, righteous and stubborn reporter who will go to any length to get the story and almost never fails. Now they're looking for a Caucasian woman in her early 30s to play the role of Lois Lane opposite Hoechlin's Superman.
You almost want Cat Grant to show up, but I don't think we're that lucky.
So, look, Lois has been mentioned in the series many times over the last 3 seasons, and they've referred to her quite a bit. You know, Cat Grant, as you kind of mentioned, always has this snarky comment about Lois and doesn't obviously like her very much. And we did get Lois' sister Lucy in season 2, turning up for quite a number of episodes. So, Lois only, couldn't be too far away, and finally we're getting her appearing with Hoechlin's Superman Clark Kent in this crossover event taking place in December.
Yeah, I think that's the other cool part, that it's not just going to be Superman and Lois, but they mentioned, I think, in several of the pieces that I read, that Clark Kent's going to be part of the story too. And really, it just if you're going to do these crossovers, bringing in as many of these characters just makes it feel more like a comic book. The only disappointing thing, and it may actually end up being a good thing, is that the Legends aren't involved in this. Because, I don't think... Yeah, Dean Cain was never in a scene with Tyler Hoechlin. Terry Hatcher was, but Dean Cain wasn't. I wonder how weird it is for a previous Superman actor to be on the screen with a guy in the suit. I mean, Dean Cain was on Smallville, but, he never wore the suit. Hashtag don't argue about this in the comments, please. And we never, none of the Supermen were in Superman Returns, none of the Supermen were in Man of Steel, or any of the sequels, so we've never had that experience of this guy played the character and here's the guy currently playing the character, or a version of the character. But I think the only thing good about that is I'm pretty sure Brandon Routh would tower over this guy. Because he, if Jimmy Olsen did, I think Brandon would. But it breaks my heart a little bit, but this is so cool. I now cannot wait for this crossover.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be pretty exciting. So we await the December 9th, 10th, and 11th 3-night crossover, 8 p.m. each of those nights. And as you will recall, Supergirl will now be on Sunday nights. And the CW, as part of that, released a poster image, which I have here for you to look at, a poster image of Supergirl Sundays. Now for the Sundays are for the CW, and Supergirl returns October 14th. And they also released on Twitter this short video promoting Supergirl's return for Season 4 being on Sundays. Check it out. Oh, I haven't got it. That's weird. I can hear it, but I can't see it. Why is that happening? That's really strange. So there's the video. That's really strange. I don't know why the video wasn't playing there. Let me try to drag it in one more time and see. We're in the Phantom Zone, that's for sure. That's where we are. So let me see if I can bring it just straight on here and see if it plays now. Of the Sunday's promotion that the CW are doing for Supergirl, and they also released a sizzle reel called Superhero Subway Sizzle that promotes all the new shows returning for new seasons: Supergirl, Arrow, The Flash, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and Black Lightning. So let me play that for you as well. And again, I'm just going to drag it on here. It seems like that's the quickest way to make it work. So trying to find it on my files here. There we go. Here we go. Here it is. So there you have it. That was the sizzle reel for the CW's returning superhero shows. And in more TV news side of things, Michael, what did you think of that sizzle reel? Anything stand out there?
I liked it. They're continuing to make Wild Dog a thing, which I cannot help but laugh about. And what did that bike do to him? I mean, that seemed unnecessary. But no, it was a cool video. I liked when they try to get kind of like all the heroes together. Obviously, that was probably all shot separately. But I do like that they're kind of proud about the fact that they have all of these superhero shows, and they're not afraid to kind of crow about that, basically.
Yeah, no, it's good to see that they're really embracing them and promoting them in the best way possible with all these different videos and sizzle reels and things like that. So we look forward to the new shows starting in October, or the new seasons of the shows starting in October. Now on future DC Universe, actually it's not future, it's actually imminent, the DC Universe live streaming of a new series called DC Daily that'll be hosted by Kevin Smith is taking place Wednesday, August 29th at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. So that's kind of less than 24 hours away if you're a DC Universe digital subscriber, or if you've been requesting to be a subscriber, I guess. You can tune in for an in-depth look at the DC Universe service, including the original series and breaking news about the upcoming digital subscription launch. It's all the details there on our website. Wednesday, August 29th, 4:30 p.m. till 6 p.m. Pacific time. Where at? Well, you go to facebook.com/the DC Universe, twitch.tv/DC Comics, or youtube.com/DC. So there are all the places that you'll be able to get this live streaming event tomorrow, August 29th.
Wow, I'd actually like to watch that, but I will be checking into a hotel room, so I won't be able to. There's a couple comments in the Flash chat. Do we still call it the Flash chat, or is it just a Facebook chat? Okay, a couple comments in the Facebook thing. One, Daniel Doherty asks if Christopher Reeve and Tom Welling being on the screen together counts as two Superman. Yeah, but it's not like Tom was in the costume. That's kind of my whole thing with that. And two, Bobby Sperling asks if the Dakotaverse, which is the Milestone books like Icon and Static Shock and all that, have crossed over into the Arrowverse yet. No, but they should.
They should. Definitely they should. And, so this DC Daily thing that's happening tomorrow will also see Kevin Smith introducing everyone to the format of the show, showing exclusive content that will be seen on DC Daily. He'll also provide an in-depth look at the digital DC Universe subscription service and show us the set that we're looking at the picture of now. And, just kind of, I guess, introduce the whole concept to everyone, because there are a lot of fans who are interested in this DC Universe subscription, wondering what it is, where it will be, how they'll get it. Details have already been released to date, but I guess having someone on screen explaining it all is probably the most beneficial way of getting the word out.
Yeah, and Kevin Smith has been kind of, it seems like they're kind of one of their guys to go to this. There was that special a couple years ago, around, I think it was 2015 or 2016, where he hosted a special with Jeff Johns, and they talked about the upcoming Justice League films, or the upcoming like Suicide Squad movie and all that. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that he's doing it. Dude's dropped a lot of weight.
I was just about to say that.
Interesting to see.
Yeah, he posted a side-by-side...
he had a heart attack, so...
Yeah, he posted a side-by-side comparison of something like 10 years ago and now today, and he looks like a totally different person. He looks younger, but the shape of his head has changed.
Yeah, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have this anymore. But I'm working on this. I don't think I'm going to drop it quite as quickly as he did, because I don't have... a sponsorship by Weight Watchers or a bunch of personal trainers to help me. So,
and you don't want to get sick either.
Slow. No, God, dropping that much weight at that quickly. I'm glad he did it, and his doctor told him to. But that's kind of
drastic.
That's your body doesn't like that.
Yeah, would have been difficult to kind of, I don't know, just get used to it all. It would be, quite weird. But anyway, we push on. And so, DC Universe tomorrow, that live event. Sounds like it'll be interesting. If you can tune in, do so, especially if you're interested in subscribing to this service. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're almost at the halfway point of tonight's program. We'll come back on the flip side to talk about comic books, and there's quite a bit to get through on that side of things as well. So we'll be back right after these messages.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer, the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Just try one. If you don't like it, it's easy to give up.
Uh-oh, nicotine. I'd better move fast. Up and away!
Go on, kid, go on.
Superman, is it hard to give up smoking, or is it easy like nicotine says?
You no-good windbag, nicotine.
No, Superman. Leave me one. Please, I need one. Just...
That's how hard it is. And that's why I never say yes to a cigarette.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
And we're back on WGBS TV Live, where if you want to be part of our show, as Michael originally explained in the beginning of the episode, you can get to us through Skype. Go to Skype, open it up, search for Superman homepage, and send us a message saying that you'd like to be a caller on tonight's program, and we will call you. And hopefully you have a good internet connection, because we cannot take people who have dodgy internet connections where it just keeps breaking up and it just makes for a disappointing conversation. Alright, well, let's push on to the comic book side of things, and Action Comics 1002 was released this past.
Supergirl plays when she wants to play.
Right now. So yeah, there's the Image Action Comics 1002. We have our reviewer Mario Benicio on the website giving it a 4 out of 5, saying Superman got played not just once but multiple times. That's got to be humiliating. Honestly, I enjoyed that. Not that I love seeing Superman being taken for a fool, but because it's a plot point that requires the investigative side of Clark Kent to show up. What did you think of this comic book, Michael?
I enjoyed it. The only thing that really disappointed me is that Guardian shows up, and the Red Cloud at one point, basically makes it that he's not an important character. But I love the Guardian, so I was just like, hey, stop being mean to him. But it was kind of cool to see him. My favorite part was Clark Kent at the bar. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of the early post-crisis days where Bibbo was his best friend and all that. It was just kind of neat that you had like this big surly biker dude who at first wants to fight him, but then they both lost someone, so suddenly they're best friends, and he's pouring his heart out. And that ending was just like, well, that's not how I expected that to happen, but that's interesting at least.
Yeah, it is quite interesting that the way this comic book played out. The storytelling is really cool. There's a lot going on there that's kind of, we don't understand what's happening, how is it fitting in, but that's what I'm enjoying about Bendis's writing, is that there are so many questions still up in the air. There are so many things that we don't know about, that Superman doesn't know about, and there are a lot of fans who are criticizing Bendis's writing style. I think it's a fresh new take as a Superman fan, mate. I haven't read his work before, so for me, I'm quite enjoying this not knowing where things are going type of storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, some people don't like the long game approach to writing comic book stories. I knew this going in. This is what he does. Yeah. It's like when he did Avengers Disassembled, there was a seed which came out in, I think, 2004. There was a seed in there for Secret Invasion, which came out in 2008. Mm-hmm. So he maps these things out, and what I'm enjoying about it is kind of like a lot of the things that happened during Reborn or during Rebirth and the early parts of this, is that there's so much character in the stories. Like, I am loving his take on the Daily Planet. His Perry White is just, I just love a gruff, but he's trying to get the best out of you, Perry White. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not yelling, but he's getting on the one reporter. She's like, well, that's what I reported. He's like, well, I've got indications that Superman was actually with the Justice League. So why don't you go do your job? And then the joke of, I used to have Lois look at your stories all the time. I'm still not even sure blue kryptonite is real. Which felt like a little bit of metatextual, like maybe, Bendis read about blue kryptonite. It's just like, is that real? But no, I am enjoying myself. This is the great thing about both this and the Superman book, is that, it's two very different stories. They're from very different perspectives. They're by the same guy, but they're a lot of fun. Like, just like his bouncy dialogue is really working for the world of Superman, and I love that Clark is getting so much of a push in this title, that we're seeing just as much of Clark as Superman in this.
Bobby in the comments says he thinks he makes Superman cuss too much, and some of the relationship stuff he's doing is out of character, but other than that, it is fine. I haven't really seen Superman use any bad language.
I can't remember. I mean, there was kind of an interesting controversy about this issue on Twitter after it came out, because he had the gangster character ask if one of his men was autistic, as into kind of
as a slur,
and I know one of the guys that was really upset about that, and I agreed with him. But the cool thing is that Bendis got in front of it, apologized, and said they were going to remove it from the future printings of the story. But I can't think of really any swearing on Superman's part. Maybe I need to reread the issue.
Maybe Bobby can enlighten us once he hears us talking about it. Yeah. I saw that controversy about the whole autistic thing, and I mean, we are talking about a villain, the way he speaks, and how many times have you heard people use derogatory terms that aren't necessarily derogatory to anyone but the person that they're saying it to? And I know other people might take offense to it because of their own autism or their own feelings about that kind of thing, but we're not talking about Superman saying something. We're not talking about Bendis saying something. We're talking about a villain in the story using a term that would not be politically correct, but he doesn't care. He's a villain.
I kind of see both sides of this, because I kind of had a similar thought to you, that it's not Superman saying it, it's not Lois saying it, it's not Perry, it's not any of the characters we're supposed to like. It is a criminal. I think in this specific case, there has been such a stigma, and I don't know if it's as big in Australia as it is here, but there is a huge anti-vaccine movement, because there was this BS scientific article in the 90s that said vaccines cause autism.
No, right.
And then some celebrities got on the bandwagon, and basically the people that are anti-vax seem to think it's better that their kids get these diseases than potentially get autistic, meaning that being autistic is bad.
Right.
So there's a stigma around it, and that I can see that that's why they took offense to it, that even though it's a bad guy, you're still putting it out there that this can be a slur.
Right, yes.
So it's one of those things where if Bendis, totally blew this off and said this isn't a big deal, why are you guys complaining, we'd be having a very different conversation. But I think everybody involved was kind of
reacted.
Everyone seems to be satisfied at this point with the resolution of it.
Very good. All right, well, we have our first caller who is interested in being a part of the conversation, and I'm going to try to bring him in right now, and that is our friend Mark Lax. So I'm going to try to bring Mark into the comic book discussion and get his thoughts on that topic, as well as the other discussions that we're about to have as well. Not sure if he's hearing us right now. Welcome, Mark. Doesn't sound like he's maybe now. Mark, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Let me turn down.
Yeah.
I'm trying to turn down my tablet here.
Yeah, cool. Well, we're just talking about the Action Comics 1002. What did you think of the issue, and what did you think of some of the stuff going on about the controversy of the autism thing?
As far you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you have to be more sensitive nowadays. I mean, sometimes we're being a little sensitive. Obviously, Bendis didn't mean any harm by it. He was just, he just used it. Unfortunately, we use different terms that we really shouldn't use. I don't think, if it doesn't affect us in a certain way, we think, oh, it's okay that we say that, and it kind of isn't. I guess, Bendis just thought to use it like the person was. I mean, the word we would sometimes use, like when I was a kid, someone that we thought was whatever, we use an R word, which is a very awful word to use towards people, if you kind of know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And by saying autistic, I think some people felt that was kind of his way of using that word. Not that he has anything against people, it's just using that word, is showing the bad guy, oh, he's a nasty guy because he said this,
Mm-hmm.
And I know he didn't mean harm by it, and he apologized about it, and I don't have that, big a problem with it because I understand it was not meant to be harmful. But, you wonder nowadays, you have to be sensitive, and, you don't know what you say might that people or upset people.
Mm-hmm.
He apologized, and he owned up to it, and, we go from there. But, I understand the controversy. I understand why people are certainly upset about it.
Sure. Now, also in comic book news this week, and I'm not sure what your thoughts are on this, Mark, and whether or not either of you, Michael, as well, will be reading this, but on September 26th, we get the launch of the upcoming Heroes in Crisis 7-issue miniseries, which will be written by Tom King. And there are 3 solicited incentive covers, one by J.G. Jones, another by Mark Brooks, and another by Francesco Mattina. And the 4th variant cover is a new open order cover by Ryan Sook depicting the death of Superman, which I will bring up the graphic.
That's a really nice cover.
Yeah, it is. It is something. Something that Mike. Well, we all really love the death of Superman, but this seems like a very interesting story. I don't know exactly where they're going to go with it. It's going to be a murder mystery. Some hero or something is supposed to die. That big. In quotes, I don't know, someone will probably die, but who knows? But it sounds interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's a sanctuary place they wear those masks, something so they can hide their identities. It seems kind of odd, but it seems very interesting. I mean, anytime they have a title with Crisis, you wonder where it's going. You wonder where it's going to go or where it's going to lead. I hear it might cross over with Doomsday Clock, which I don't know how that'll do that, but I think it is something I'm going to take a look at, definitely. And Booster Gold is a big part in it, so I love Booster Gold, so I'll definitely be there for that.
Michael, what do you think of this Heroes in Crisis? Do we need a new Crisis miniseries crossover? Is it something you're excited about? Is it something that Superman fans will want to read from what you've heard?
I am very excited for this series. Post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's not just things that, like soldiers experience. PTSD is something anybody can develop. You just have to have trauma. It's not post-soldier stress disorder. is very real. I deal with it on a very regular basis. Not me personally, but someone very close to me. And if he is going to use this to explore, on one hand, it's kind of cool. This is a good hook for a story. We're going to explore how the heroes of the DC Universe deal with all of the traumatic things they experience. But if it's a platform to have people talk about it and to get the conversation out there, and then maybe some people will go get the help that they need after reading this, then I think it will be very much worth it. This reminds me in a lot of ways of the lead up to Identity Crisis. Right. And it kind of has that similar vibe, but I think it's going to have a very, very different feel when we're in the series. I also really like that first cover. Superman looks very good on this. So I think Superman fans, Superman's a big part of it, but are we going to really, are they going to dig into how he dealt with dying and coming back? That would be definitely worth reading.
Yeah. And sorry, just to be clear, it's not Superman dying again. They're just looking at the case. It's just a cover that looks at the certain elements of the DC Universe history as if they were a case file. It's just a cover. It's not part of the story, so to speak.
Well, I think there was a cover or other covers of the different heroes and some of the things they all went through.
Exactly.
You got the Superman, a couple of the other characters. I forget which, but they showed some of the things that, old stories that we've read that they've suffered through something.
Right, they said they'll be going through the timelines of heroes like Batman, Hal Jordan, Wonder Woman, and Harley Quinn to explore some of their most traumatic moments and envision just how they would look as case report files in these cover designs. So I'm sure, something like Batman will probably get, the death of Robin, or is the breaking of his back still something that is in continuity?
Back breaking, yeah.
What happened to him last Tuesday? It's just dead parents. He's got a lot going on.
Left at the altar, the whole thing.
Yeah, you never know what it could be.
Yeah.
So that's the Heroes in Crisis miniseries that's coming up, and let's have a look at some of the comic books that are coming up this week, and there aren't many for Superman fans, really. There is one interesting one, and we'll get to that in a second. So let's just have a look at the covers that are available for comic books out this week. We have the Death of Superman, Part 1, Chapter 5, Proof digital comic, and this is the series that is going hand in hand with the Death of Superman animated movie that is out now. So if you're a digital reader, that is out now. The printed edition will be down the track. We also have this one, Lex Luthor, Porky Pig, #1. It is also available in a variant cover, which is there. I like the variant cover better than I like the actual cover.
That thing freaks me out.
That is scary.
And if you're interested as a Bizarro fan, then Red Hood and the Outlaws Annual #2 has something about the death of Bizarro, or so what happens to Bizarro is included as a story in this annual, and Bizarro has been part of the Red Hood and the Outlaws storyline for quite a number of issues now, dating back months. So that is what's out this week. So no Action Comics, no Superman, no Supergirl, no Super Sons, but we do have Lex Luthor and Porky Pig together.
Yeah.
What
I miss not having a Superman book every week. I will say that.
Yes, it's a skip week.
What we're getting with Bendis, I'm really enjoying it. So it's okay to wait that extra week. So.
Yeah. Now I don't think we have a reviewer for Lex Luthor, Porky Pig. So if someone out there is interested and you're of good writing ability, then feel free to submit a review for this particular comic book, because I'm sure fans will want to know what other fans think about it. It's one of those ones where no one knows what to expect going in.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up screaming because of that cover tonight. I just know that at some point it's just gonna cause a horrendous nightmare why couldn't they use the other cover? I think these Looney Tunes or these like these mashups they've been doing are a lot of fun. They seem to at least be trying to do something different. I mean, this isn't like I don't. You guys probably remember the Superman Bugs Bunny miniseries from like 2000, which was not all that good, if I'm remembering correctly. So it's nice to have this kind of stuff. And in the Flash chat, it says Superman is Space Jam 2018. I don't know if I'd go that far. I hated Space Jam. I hated that movie.
Well, there it is. Well, Mark, before we let you go, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, that's about it.
Cool. Well, it's always good to talk to you, and I appreciate you calling into tonight's program.
All right. You take care. And
thanks, Mike.
Have a good time at Dragon Con.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Mark Lax, who calls in regularly to chat with us. All right. So moving away from comic books, and speaking of villains, as we were talking about Lex Luthor, and I don't know if Porky Pig's a villain, but either way, there was an official story trailer for the Lego DC Super Villains video game that is coming out. Yes, for the first time, you will be able, in one of these Lego games, you'll be able to play as a villain. And so you can unleash mischievous antics, wreak havoc in an action-packed, hilarious story written in collaboration with DC Comics. It's set in an expansive open-world experience within the DC universe. The Justice League has disappeared, leaving Earth's protection to their counterparts from a parallel universe who have proclaimed themselves as the Justice Syndicate. So, you can play as the Joker, Harley Quinn, Lex Luthor, Deathstroke, Killer Frost, Sinestro, and countless others from the Injustice League. And you'll get to set out on an epic adventure to ensure that their villainy remains unrivaled. Let's have a look at the story trailer that was released for this week, and I'll just load that up for you right now.
The anti-life equation will be mine. Your defeat is inevitable. Who here dares resist?
A rookie.
Rookie.
Is the doctor don't say much?
We are the Justice Syndicate.
Your Justice League have had to go on a mission. They asked us to watch over you.
What? That's not what happened.
Report.
The crime syndicate claim they are very close to locating the artifact.
Nothing else is of importance.
I found out who we're dealing with.
With the Justice League out of the picture, who's gonna stop them?
Us! We can stop them!
Indeed! And then we can take over.
Precisely. Who's with me?
Here you go, Chuckles!
You got it back for me! Put it there!
Now we'll show them.
Insignificant specks.
Hey, folks! You'd have to be living under a rock not to notice the new planet in the sky.
What's that now?
So there you have it, the story trailer for DC Super Villains, the Lego game, video game coming out on October 16th. You can get it for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC, and you can order it through the Superman homepage. Just head to our website and you'll see the story trailer there and the links to buy it through Amazon.
So we've got Michael Ironside, Clancy Brown, and Mark Hamill all coming back as their animated counterparts, and I think that was Michael Dorn as Calabac, which is from Superman the Animated Series. So that's awesome.
Looks like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that's our Christmas present. So I know that right now.
Very cool. Now, talking of Christmas presents, and if you have kids or young ones, then a new series of books from Downtown Bookworks is coming out in. Well, let me have a look here. They'll be out next month, September. So there is a series of books. There's books from everything: a bath book about Aquaman, a board book about manners, a picture book about everyone's favourite supervillains, a superhero bedtime book, a science book with experiments, and a girl power activity book. And each title is packed with great retro art. And it's great to see a lot of this artwork coming back in a lot of DC stuff at the moment.
Yeah, they opened up the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, praise be his name, style sheets years ago, and we're all reaping the benefits of that right now.
Yeah, indeed. So Downtown Bookworks, they have released many already. There have been other ones like Girl Power. There's been the Big Book of Wonder Woman, the Big Book of Superpowers, the Big Book of Superman, Batman. What is it? Even Superheroes Sleep. And so all these books that are already out available, and these new ones that are coming out in September. So if you're interested in collecting these, or like I said, you've got a young one in your place, then what better way there to buy a Christmas present for them coming up, or any other kind of birthday present, or whatever it might be. These new books from Downtown Bookworks, get them again through the Superman homepage.
Looking for, I like that. Even heroes say please. I don't know why that made me laugh, but it did.
All right, well, you got a minute or so, Michael, if you want to talk about the panels that you've got coming up for DragonCon.
Pretty exciting. The Superman-related ones, we'll stick to that since we're short on time. Saturday at 1 o'clock, I'm going to be moderating a panel with Matthew Clark and Gail Simone and Alex Sinclair and another creator named Tom Zoller. We're going to be talking about Superman, but from the perspective of people that have either worked on him or worked on characters like him. Sunday at 4 o'clock, I believe, we are doing the Superman, the movie 40th anniversary panel, where we're going to sit there and just talk about the movie. I've got a presentation for that, so we're going to be watching trailers and stuff like that. Just basically a bunch of people sitting around talking about Superman the movie. Monday morning is the two big ones for me. One, we're at 11:30. I'm doing Tracing Superman's History. It's basically going to be 80 years of Superman in 60 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure I could do that. And then literally right after that, at 1, we're going to be doing a 25th anniversary of Lois and Clark panel. So if you are going to DragonCon and you have downloaded the app, I am in it, and you can see all the other panels I'm doing if that makes you happy. Or if you just want to catch the Superman ones, they're in there too.
Cool, very cool. Well, we wish you all the best for that. I know you got a lot of prep work to do, and you're very organised in that way. So, we wish you all the best with that, and good luck with all the panels that you'll be doing. And make sure you rest your voice in between.
I'll give it a shot.
And that's pretty much it for tonight's program. Before we do sign off, I'd like to thank everyone for watching tonight's episode of WGBS TV Live. I'd like to thank everyone in the comments there on Facebook, and Mark Lax, who called in to chat with us tonight. And a big thank you to you, my co-host and panel hosting friend, Michael Bailey. Thanks, Mike.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
And a huge thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Tina Murray, Douglas Meacham, and Henry Bernstein. If you want to sponsor the Superman homepage, you can do so for as little as $3. Just head to patreon.com/Superman homepage. Well, the complete 1-hour video of tonight's show will remain available on the Superman homepage website and our Facebook page if you'd like to watch it back or perhaps miss part of the show. But we'll be back next week on Tuesday, September 4th at 7:30 Pacific time for another edition of WGBS TV Live. Look forward to talking with you then. And I forgot tonight to do the segments that we've done on a monthly basis for the big Blue Report and the super secret soundbite. Promise to do those next week for you, so stand by for those on September 4th. But for now, I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com.